stitches out today.
Uh-huh.
I said, might as well all leave them in there another week or two.
That's why you can't get your hair wet, right? That's why you can't get your hair wet.
I'm gonna wash it tomorrow and then Saturday I'm gonna get a haircut. Blister bleed.
Quiet tonight. You have to stand up, you know, if I can get past. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, I hate that. I hate when that happens.
So we're not gonna discuss this tonight?
No, we're not gonna discuss part of it. The day that you all agree, that's gonna be.
Oh. Mayor and council for Tuesday, September 6th is called to order. And I will begin this meeting, as with any other meeting, with our mission statement, which is as I know, it's like, okay, I like that. It is the mission of the city of Forest Park to enhance, strengthen, and grow our city by collaborating with our community to provide the highest level of service, striving to be recognized as a diverse community that values and respects all members. We will strive to provide fair, professional, and courteous service through transparency and open communication. As we work to achieve this mission, we will have integrity beyond reproach while employing fiscal discipline and innovation. In this work, there are no praises and raises for mediocrity. Ms. Hood, can I have the roll call, please?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Ms. Hood.
Roll call for September the 6th, 2022 work session. Mayor Butler,
Present.
Councilmember James,
Present.
Councilmember
Good
Anton,
evening, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Present, ma'am.
Councilmember Akins, Wells,
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
I'm here.
Mayor, council, you have a tool.
All right, thank you. Dr. Cooper, you have the floor for our city manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Starting the city manager report, please keep in the family of former Ward 3 Councilwoman Sandra Bagley, who passed away on August 30th. Keep her family in your thoughts and prayers. Councilman DeBooz Antoine, in cooperation with Black Push, would like to invite everyone out to a gun violence roundtable on Saturday, September 10th at First Iconium Baptist Church, 542 Moreland. That starts from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the roundtable discussion will highlight stories of survival as well as proposed actions needed to ensure a safer America for all citizens. Councilman DeBooz, did you want to say anything?
You said it
further?
more, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. On Thursday, September 8th, the Forest Park Police Department is hosting a community meeting at the Liberty Ministries Family Workshop, 654 Main Street. And this event is open to the public and it is free. On September 11th, Recreation and Leisure will host the ultimate tailgate experience for the Falcons versus Saint game. Big rivalry there. The event will be held at Star Park and will kick off at 11 a.m. And on September 24th, the Recreation and Leisure will host a 5K fun run walk event at Star Park that kicks off at 8 a.m. Every second Friday from 5 to 9, join the Senior Panthers in action for bingo night at Forest Park Senior Center, 5087 Park Avenue. You can join them for a great game, fun, and prizes. On September 29th, from 9:30 to 11 a.m., the City of Forest Park Economic Development Department invites you to the Breakfast on the Go networking event with local business owners and city officials. This event will be held at 696 Main Street. We'll have refreshments provided by our local vendors, and for more information, you can contact Economic Development at our one call number, option 6. Next, again, just a reminder about our one call number, to City Hall, 404-366-4720. Just want to remind everyone, please listen to the prompts because those have changed and it will get you to the department you need to get to, but it's one number for every city department now into City Hall. The City of Forest Park has received the second round of federal ARPA funds, which have been approved. Staff is working on a survey to receive the community's input to help us develop a list of priorities to bring forth to council for funding approval. And we are working to have this survey ready for distribution via internet by next meeting. So I will be reaching out to council, to staff, to get the questions right, what we want to ask. Last things I have on Thursday, September 1st, 2020 at 7:02 a.m., Forest Park's own Sarah Hudson welcomed her new baby girl into the world. Lastly, congratulations, Ms. Shalonda Brown, our Human Resources Director, on obtaining her Workplace Mediator and Trainer in Conflict Resolution certification from Eckerd College and Mediation Training Institute. Madam Mayor, that's my report.
Excellent, congratulations. Our EMS coordinator, Mr. Gelmini, so you have the floor. And he's going to provide our COVID updates and any monkeypox updates that there
That's
might be.
mustache in Clayton County.
Very much, sir. Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are y'all?
Good.
Wonderful. So COVID report, our numbers are actually down this week. Between 8/29 and 9/4, there were 270 new positive cases in Clayton County, countywide, which is a decrease from last month's numbers, with only 17 hospitalizations from that week and 0 deaths reported. Case breakdown still shows approximately 58% of cases being female and 42% with male, with any remaining of unknown sex. Forest Park continues to make up consistently the 8.7 percentile of Clayton County, and we're still showing anywhere between 15 and 25 new cases. So we're still right there on the line. We had 21 new cases total last week. The 30 to 39 age group still shows the highest percentage of positive cases. We have showed a small improvement with vaccines from last month's numbers, staying around the 56 percentile, but still coming up about 1% each that have received the first dose of vaccines. 50% of county residents are fully vaccinated. 20% of those citizens that are fully vaccinated have also received the additional booster dose. The CDC continues to encourage and recommend vaccinations and boosters for COVID-19, which are available through several means. The current recommendation for vaccines are anyone over 6 months of age. The current recommendations for boosters is at least 5 months after receiving the final dose of either the Moderna or Pfizer, or 2 months after receiving the single dose Johnson & Johnson. The second booster dose is currently being recommended to people that are 50 and older, especially with underlying medical conditions, and should be administered at least 4 months after the prior dose was received. To locate a vaccine site, you can text your zip code to 438-829 or call 1-800-232-0233 to find local vaccine providers. Contacting your primary care physician or local pharmacy is also a method to see if they are issuing the vaccines or boosters. And you can also visit www.vaccines.gov. The Clayton County Health District is still giving out vaccines based on their availability and are rotating their vaccine locations around the county for easy access to citizens. They are requesting that people who wish to receive the vaccine or booster to call and make an appointment. The number is 678-479-2223, or you can visit www.claytoncountypublichealth.org. All of this information is also available under the fire department's website for the city of Forest Park under the tab labeled COVID-19. For monkeypox, we have shown an increase in confirmed cases this month, now totaling 1,445 cases statewide across Georgia since the beginning of tracking. According to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, monkeypox is a rare disease caused by infection with the monkeypox virus, which is part of the same family of viruses as the variola virus, which is the virus that causes smallpox. Monkeypox symptoms are similar to smallpox symptoms, but milder, and monkeypox is rarely fatal. For more information on virus spread, prevention, testing, vaccinations, and treatment across the state of Georgia, you can visit dph.georgia.gov/monkeypox. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? All right, thank you. Presentations, Landmark Consulting, background and history. Landmark Consulting is a portfolio management firm that specializes in reporting of federal programs. Oh, and that's it. Landmark, you are,
Mayor, if I can say.
sure.
something?
You-
The reason I did ask Landmark Consulting to come in with the promotion of Ms. LaShawn Gagne to our Director of Planning and Community Development, we would need an organization to come in and help us with grants and reporting and all of those different things. I don't know how Ms. LaShawn did that all by herself, but she did and did a great job with it. So I asked Landmark to come in to present to council to see if this is something that we would want to pursue.
School beans. I'm sorry, that's my favorite thing to say, school beans. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Deborah Henson, and I am the Regional General Manager for Landmark Consulting here in Georgia. A little bit about me, I have worked at the City of Atlanta. Most recently, I was the Assistant Deputy Commissioner, General Manager for the Department of Aviation, where I had the Department of Facilities. So I know Forest Park really, really well because my team cut the grass all around you. If we did cut your grass too. So I did that. And then I was with Watershed Management for 6.5 years, where I know Dr. Anthony, I call him Anthony, Dr. Cooper from. Landmark Consultant is a small engineering firm that has four things. We do four things really well. One is compliance work, where we do reporting on all federal funding. Doesn't have to be federal, it could be state, it could be any kind of funding. And the team behind me is going to tell my boss and the assistant principal, the principal is going to tell you about that. I came over with Landmark because I have been where you are. I was in federal government. I was in the state government for 11 years, and I knew what it was like to not have reporting or to get audited and didn't have all of the paperwork we needed for audits. So I came out of government to go back and to come back in to help government. That's truly what I've done. I'm going to turn this over to Keely Thibodeau, who is the owner. So it's a female-owned firm, who's the owner of Landmark Consulting, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about us.
Hi, good evening, everybody, and thanks again for having us today. I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through our presentation, tell you a little bit more about our company and the services that we provide. As Deborah said, we provide a federal compliance, grants management and compliance services, project controls, which we'll learn a little bit more about that. That's really more on the finance side. Program management, which is really managing a series of projects that really come from the allocation of the federal grant funds that I'm sure you guys have already received. And then we practice architecture. I'm actually a licensed architect. I'm licensed here in Georgia. So basically, we combine our technical knowledge of large-scale building programs. We've always worked on large-scale capital programs, City of New Orleans, City of Atlanta, and just kind of all over. But we also use federal funding requirements to actually get those programs and buildings and infrastructure built. So this is a really kind of unique take on this particular service because we manage the funding and then we manage the projects too. So there's basically three types of federal funding. There's entitlement funds, which I'm sure you guys receive year over year without really having to make a request. There's competitive grant funds, which there's a lot of opportunity for that we'd like to see you guys take advantage of, particularly with the infrastructure bill and other federal sources that are coming available. And then formula grants. FEMA is an example of one of those formula grants. You know how many disasters have been popping up in places that they have not traditionally been. So we can also talk to you guys a little bit more about that. Right, next. So in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, this is really just a high level of what you can expect, what's being delivered for the state of Georgia. And you all have an opportunity either directly or through your county to make application for these particular services. So this is just a kind of an overview of that, everything from roads and bridges to improving sustainable transportation, EV chargers, high-speed internet for small rural areas, infrastructure for climate change, cyber attacks, and extreme weather events, delivering clean drinking water, and improving the nation's airports. So there's a variety of opportunities available. Some of these are competitive grants, some of these are formula grants, but I think the most important thing is just to have a plan and being in front of it because you don't want to miss any opportunities for your community. So just a little bit about our pre-award services. We offer kind of a clearinghouse for grants management opportunities. So we actually search for opportunities that where you all would meet those requirements. We present those to you and you can decide if it's something you want to move forward with or not. But we will do the research. We will rank the best fit options. We submit those options to you on a monthly report. You can kind of give us a go or no go on those and approve us to move forward with it, and talk to you guys regularly about the process of making various applications. So once you make a decision to move forward with something or with an opportunity, then we'll actually prepare the grant application and proposal, working with the various departments and your senior leadership here to putting all those things together, including tracking those applications until they get funded. And then our post-award services is after you've been awarded. This is really where the work begins on the monitoring and oversight of all those funds and tracking how they've actually been spent for the purpose for which they've been given. And the each grant actually provides some administrative fees in order for you to manage it according to the way they'd like to receive the reporting. This is a list of all the various types of grants that we've managed for other clients, and they're a combination of entitlement, formula, and competitive grant funding sources and uses. And I'll turn this over to Cedric Pippins, who's our principal at the firm, but he handles all the financial stuff.
How you guys doing? So what you see on the screen is it's a portfolio management system. So what we use is this dashboard to just manage all your grants, manage all your funding. You get funds come in, we kind of manage the programs that you title funding sources to. We track all the costs and we bring all that information, centralize all that information to one place. So you guys can make, leaders can make decisions. It also helps with audit, managing audits, risks, and what have you. So it's very important. My background is in project controls, managing budgets and costs, and reporting up and providing transparency to leaders and team members to make collaboration and good decisions. And so that system, we have a dashboard, and it just provides accurate real-time reporting, transparency, and coordination, and it also provides cost savings. You can go to the next slide. And so what you see on the screen is just some screenshots of some of the information for a few clients. We actually do it for the city of Atlanta, but we manage about $300 million of their ARPA funds and their CARES funds. And so we track all of the costs back to all the programs that are eligible. We review those programs and make sure they were eligible. We work with finance to grab all that data and centralize all the information so we can track all the costs, manage risk as we go through the life cycle. So by the time an audit happens, you guys are, prepared, all the documentation is in place, all the reporting and costs is in place as well. And it's in a live dashboard where you guys can manage it day to day. And what you see on the screen is another screenshot of the dashboard and some of the funding sources that a client received and how we track and report it. Again, it's real time. This particular client has went through two audits and passed with no issues. And this is just a slide of what we're currently doing for the city of Atlanta. Again, it's managing their ARPA funds, CARES funds, everything COVID related. When we came in again, we were in a COVID environment, people working from home. So they wanted, again, a collaborative way where they could track what's going on so they can make decisions and manage and monitor the funds. The COVID financial recovery and compliance, it provides administrative framework and organization, internal controls, which is very important, advisory services, risk reduction, monitoring and compliance, program solution, and disaster fund management. And basically, we're doing this the same thing for Douglas County, where we're assisting with their funds they received. We're reviewing to make sure that the programs that they put forth are eligible and that leaders can track those costs, make informed decisions, and manage risks throughout the life cycle. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? We'll start with Councilman Antoine.
Well, for me, I know usually, experience and trust is what I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm definitely in favor of that.
Councilman Gutierrez.
I just put peanuts in my mouth. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. You skipped one. We always have questions.
I know. Councilwoman Wells. Councilman Mears. Councilwoman James.
Is this temporary, Dr. Cooper, or is it once we're not gonna have a grant writer anymore?
Well, for the time being, they would serve as the grant writer, and we could look at this on an annual basis to determine if this is something that we would want to continue or that we would want to go outside of to try to find. Can you talk a little bit about how you are paid?
Yes.
Yeah, so all of the grant funds that we've been managing have administrative fees that I guess are a part of receiving those funds. So we're actually paid out of the administrative fee from the grant dollars itself to do the
So
management.
you kind of like an attorney in a way, like if you get the grant, then you get paid?
Well,
percentage of it?
if you have the grant, once the grant has been received, then the administrative fees kick in. But if we're talking about a competitive grant where we need to develop a proposal, then there's a separate fee structure for that. And that's based on the level of effort, hourly based on the level of effort.
Thank you. I guess for us, if we approve this, is it gonna come back to us with the pricing or is it?
Actually, well, and tonight I'm not asking for an approval. I
Just
want to get
discussion.
the presentation. I want to get, if the council so chooses, I can move forward with discussing all of that with the company. Then that would come back to council for approval, and how that would move forward. With, as far as the nature, like, as I said, would it be temporary or would it be permanent? That would depend on what council wants to do.
So I do have a question. You guys are going to do the reporting for auditing purposes, correct? So if there's a discrepancy, where does the liability? Who has the liability if there's a discrepancy?
Well, I guess it depends on what the discrepancy is. We certainly have a responsibility to make sure that we've, prepared everything accurately and support you guys through the audit process. We actually manage the audit process with our clients. We actually answer all of the questions and participate in the process to make sure that things go smoothly. But our whole design is really around knowing what those requirements are right up front and planning our program from the very beginning. So all of the tools, the dashboard, that's all from lessons learned from years and years of doing this. We've been doing this since Hurricane Katrina 17 years ago. Really learning these processes and perfecting them over time. So all of the record retention, all of the, accounting that we do in our system supports that effort.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have one
Item
last
2.
question. I'm sorry. Where can we, I don't know if that's private information, but is there anything that you can highlight as far as like, that's a grant we got like for somewhere or someone? Like, where can we see your work?
Oh, okay. Well, we just, we mentioned locally, the city of Atlanta is a client. We certainly encourage you to contact them as a reference. And we've been managing funds for them for the last 2 years or so. Douglas County is a new client for us locally, but you're more than welcome to contact them as a reference and happy to provide you with other references.
Yes, ma'am.
I think those two are good. Thank you,
So-
ma'am.
So just to wrap my mind around it, so the management analysis was doing exactly what this company is doing.
Well, LaShawn was definitely doing what they would be doing. They're going to be on a much larger, because, LaShawn did search, but again, one person can only search so much, where now we got a whole company that's searching. And with us obtaining the lab certifications and different things of that nature, it opens up a lot more federal funds and all those things that we have to go after. And, right now we need someone that's going to be able to help us go after those funds, make sure that we are remaining compliant, because, those things are very detailed in what they are expecting. And again, I have to give LaShawn, I have to commend her, because some of the things that we had to do to get these funds reapproved, let's just say ARPA, the things that LaShawn had to turn in and the way she had to track it and how she had to track it, it was a phenomenal job that she did. And we did get approved for that again. So
We'll just have more.
Yep.
Yes.
more people. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2, Leadership Clayton, class of 2022, Food for Clayton. Background and history. Food for Clayton is a 6-member group from the Leadership Clayton class of 2022. Their group project consists of providing a resource that Clayton County residents in need of food can use to locate agencies and nonprofit organizations that provide such services. With assistance from local partners, they have created a map tool that residents can download a link or a QR code that provides the name, addresses, and transportation access to the agencies and nonprofits. You have the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Leslie.
Good evening.
We are 1/3 of the leadership class of 2022 class, and We have 6 members and they consist of myself, LaShawn Gardner, Miss Caroline Angelo, Chief Kevin Roberts, sitting is Stephanie Oliver, Sydney Bourget, and Derek Gilchrist. So I'll just say, one of the things we had to do as part of being a part of Leadership Clayton is we had to develop a project that we thought would benefit the community, not only in leadership for this Leadership Clayton class, but something that we thought would be beneficial to the Clayton County community that would be sustainable. And so we did some brainstorming. And so we came up with, we looked at food insecurity in the county. And so thus we came up with the name Food for Clayton for our group. And so we can just start now with the presentation and just give you a little background info. So food insecurity. The United States Department of Agriculture defines food insecurity as a lack of consistent access to enough food for an active and healthy lifestyle. Low income, nor limited access to transportation, lives more than a mile from a grocery store. Next slide, please. Background information. Low income populations plus low access to fresh, affordable foods 1 mile or more equals the acronym LILA. Next slide. Food insecurity in Clayton County. In 2019, that number consisted of 11.6% over 32,000 residents. In 2021, that percentage increased to 19.9% or over 56,000 residents. And now I will hand it over to Chief Roberts to finish this section.
Just Kevin Roberts today. I'm smiling. I'm excited about this, and everybody in this room should be excited as we had a task put before us to create an impact on the citizens of Clayton County in the cities and unincorporated Clayton County. The mayor said it so well, but the purpose of Food for Clayton is to address food insecurity by connecting people with local food resources. Next slide. So our mission was to create a tool, to create a food map to connect people with the local food resources in and around Clayton County. How are we going to do that? We needed a food map. The food map is a database with information about the different entities in the community that provide food or community food sources, CFSs. And the food map will outline those CFSs located in and around the Clayton County. It will be accessible via website or via your phone. And we have a QR code and a link that you can use to access both. Next slide. I mentioned the database. You said something in your mission statement about collaboration. Everybody in the county, whether you're in the city or unincorporated Clayton County, struggles with food insecurity. So we have overcome that barrier through our partnership with Clayton County Community Development. They will maintain this food map through ArcGIS as shown on screen. And whether we're here 6 months down the road, a year or two down the road, this map should still be in existence and we should be able to add food resources to the map as long as there's a community development agency in the county. So this is sustainable, regardless of whether it's us or someone else. Next slide. The database structure is very simple. They have the organization name, the address, the phone number, website, email, and service description. I'm excited. I want you to be excited. We got to put some food in some people's bellies for the long run. We're on the backside of a pandemic. This is very, very important. And we want everyone within the sound of our voices to share this information. The best way we get this tool out is just to pass it along. And with that, I will bring up the lovely Caroline Angelo, and she will take you through the map.
All right. Well, I'm also really excited about this project. In my regular life, I work at Atlanta Technical College, so I'm acutely aware of the need for food of our residents in Clayton County. We have a food pantry there at the college that we have trouble sometimes keeping stocked because so many students need a little something to eat before they take a test. So a food map like this will allow you to log in. I know it's a little hard to see on the screen, but what you'll be able to do is log, oh, perfect. Didn't even think of that. What you'll be able to do is click on one of the little red hearts. There you go. And over here on this side, it'll pop up the place. It's got the information, and it is actually hard for me to see, even though I wear my glasses. There we go. It'll show you the address, the city, the zip. If there is contact information, that'll show up. If there's anything special that you need to know, if it says something like you have to show proof of residency, or you have to be, a few of them, you have to be over 18, different things like that. We'll have that in our notes section. We have a phone number. And when you're using it on your phone, it actually asks you if it can search your location, and it'll give you when it opens up, the homepage will be the ones that are the most close to where you are. Next slide, please. On the next, I'm on the next slide. What do you want me to click? Okay, I was going to say, I think it was on the next slide. Okay, so then on this slide, it shows over here on the side, you can see a little more information for directions, how to get from where you are to where the food is. So in addition to it searching your location, it'll give you like a little Google map. Here's how to get to the food. So hopefully people will be able to either access a website, and we were hoping that even if you don't have a smartphone, you could go to the public library and you could look on the use the internet there or something like that. So we wanted to make this as accessible as possible to anyone who's in need of food. Next slide, please. And this is a little close-up that shows you how you can walk or drive or however you need to go to get to the food. So we have rack cards, and I think each of you have one at your place. We have these printed in English, Vietnamese, and Spanish. And on each little card, which we are distributing as a PDF file to government entities, recreation centers, churches, schools, libraries. We are making sure that we get these out to all the places where there may be people in need. On the card, and I think next slide is a little bit closer. So we're also showing them, handing them out at community events. We'll be at the Mental Health Fun Run on Saturday. We'll be at the Lovejoy Fall Festival. We have a number of other events where we're going to be handing them out, but we're doing our best to get this information out to anyone who might need it. On the back of our rack card is the QR code. So someone can just scan that to find it on their phone. There's also a link, and we're real excited that as of today, it's being added to the One Clayton website under resources. So people will also be able to find it that way. And so our ask is just that you help us share this information. As Chief Roberts said, as Kevin said, we are, our big goal is just to get the message out, because there are a lot of people in need, and we want to make sure that they know that this map exists, because there are a lot of organizations trying to get food to people. We just need to help them get the people to the food. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, Councilman Antoine?
Oh, yes, so this comes right in time, because today in class today, I teach government. We got the kids to do like a group project, which is to collect canned goods, bring them to the class, and we're gonna go to the parent liaisons room, Kimberly here, and drop them off throughout the school, because a lot of kids come to our office for help. I think that's a great idea. Only thing that I would say is like, I'm from a country that definitely needs this too. In case people don't wanna get food, you could come down to my country and help us out with that.
And I just want to mention, our very first event was at Forest Park Fun Day, where we actually handed out a number of these rat cards to the people that were there enjoying their time.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yeah, just this is amazing. This Clayton Leadership Program, I just think, I was on the fence about it, but just seeing the productivity and the type of people that are in it is very cool. There's another resource called findhelpgeorgia.org. And that one is, it's similar. I mean, you can find anything on there, but you can upload resources. It's similar to this one specifically for food. I love the logo too, the website you created, just an amazing resource. Hopefully, we can add something like this in our website where we can just put resources, Dr. Cooper, and where our people can access this and, just take advantage of it.
Well, that is one part of our ask is if we can place this either on the city's website or on our social media platforms.
Councilwoman Ross.
Yes, I was gonna mention that too, Ms. Gardner, but I think it's a great program. You all did come out to Forest Park Day, and it's like as soon as you all left, then everybody's like, "Where the food people? Where?" So I think that is what you call collaborating with the community, getting out and getting involved with the community, because there are a lot of people in need and they don't know where to go.
Right.
I think it's a great thing that you all are doing. If it's anything that I can do to assist you, then please let me know.
Thank you.
Councilman Mears. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. I forgot. Councilwoman James.
So I know I told Madam Mayor to stop starting with me first. So that's why she's not starting me. So thank you.
Forgot about you.
But I wanted to say that we went to an event at Forest Park Middle School where they are being housed, and Mayor was there as well. And they were talking, the kids actually listed 6 things that were top of line to really try to focus on, because we're getting a brand new middle school and all that. And the top of line was food insecurity. And some of the things that they actually named was the local grocery store, the one that's closest to them, which is the Piggly Wiggly. And I probably shouldn't have said their name, but anyway, it's the Piggly Wiggly. And they said how, they pay more for milk and pay more for different things at that grocery store than if they were to go down to Kroger and things like that. So I think that's a huge issue too in our community, to make sure that we point people to the direction where they can get the most for their money, So, but thank you all, Leadership Clayton, for your information today.
Your information cards such as these out front on the table as you exit, if you would like one.
All right, thank you. Item 3, FUSIS, Real-Time Crime Center Camera. Background and history. The FUSIS Unified Intelligence Platform is an open ecosystem that integrates and enhances all public safety and investigation assets. It unifies live video, data and sensor feeds from virtually any source, creating a real-time crime center in the cloud. The FUSIS platform makes it easy for community members, such as businesses and schools, to share their cameras with local law enforcement, and the option to only do so at the click of a panic button. This means that they do not have to sacrifice their privacy to ensure greater safety in our city and neighborhoods. This is a public safety ecosystem around Atlanta that includes over 20,000 cameras and is slated to double within a year. All cameras are combined with other public safety utilities like video management software, drones, departmentally issued cell phones, gunshot detection systems, license plate readers, and integrates all of this information with the department's 911 computer-aided dispatch software. The FUSIS platform has enabled law enforcement agencies to rapidly and effectively respond to and solve a variety of crimes they may not have otherwise been able to do so, including shootings, homicides, and carjackings. Using this network around Metro Atlanta will enable our department to partner with agencies like Atlanta Police, Fulton County Sheriff, Fulton County Police, Cobb County Police, Henry County Police, and soon Clayton County Police and DeKalb County Police. Partnering with these agencies gives us access to all their video surveillance and license plate readers across the Metro Atlanta area for investigative resources at no additional costs than our platform. All right, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I appreciate y'all having us in. My name's Jim Price. I'm a public safety advisor with FUSIS. And my background is I'm retired from Gwinnett County PD. I did 29 years with them and retired back in 2018. Been with FUSIS just over a year. We are a Georgia-based company. We're located in Peachtree Corners in Gwinnett County. We're about 2.5 years old. And, we got contacted by the chief and asked if we could come and present to you all and explain to you all what we're doing. So if you can go on to the next slide. Who is Fusus? Right now, that number's up to about 130 agencies across the country that are now using the Fusus platform. That number is growing weekly. And as you stated, Clayton County PD is about to be one of those members using our platform. And right now, we are compatible with over 200 different camera systems. So we don't sell cameras. We don't sell LPRs. We basically integrate everything into a single pane of glass to make it easier to get into. And when you think about doing business and you sit at your desk and you got to go to this software and that software, and you're logging on to 3, 4, 5 different platforms to do your job, we put everything in one single place. So now they log on one time and they have access to all of those resources that you named earlier. End-to-end service provider training 24/7, 365. We are in-house. So all of our manufacturing, all of our customer support, all of our engineers, everybody is in our location in Peachtree Corners. Built by law enforcement for law enforcement. Probably 70% of our company is either retired law enforcement or military. And that's we come from that background so we can talk to the actual use and how it's applied in law enforcement. You can go ahead. Right now, we talked about how many agencies across the country. This is Metro Atlanta right now. Clayton PD, DeKalb PD is about to be added to that. But we have Fulton PD, Fulton County Sheriff, Atlanta PD, Cobb PD, Cherokee County Sheriff, Alpharetta, Roswell, Henry County PD. We're in talks with multiple other city agencies around. And hopefully, probably by the end of this year, we'll have upwards of 12 to 15 agencies in Metro Atlanta that should be up and running. And what that means for Forest Park is everybody running a Fusus platform can share what they have with anybody else on a platform for no additional cost. So you may be a smaller city on this platform, but you'll have access. Atlanta's got 10,000 cameras up and running right now. They agree to share with you. You can have access to whatever cameras Forest Park PD decides was beneficial to them. And that doesn't cost you anything extra on top of the platform that you already have. So you have the ability to be, like you stated earlier, over 20,000 assets. That's camera, license plate readers coming into your PD that will cost you nothing other than what the platform they're already running. Next slide, please. So basically, this is kind of the topography map of how we bring everything in. And just real quick, we bring license plate readers, your city-owned camera systems, drones, robots. And the big thing is the private video. So when we talk about bringing private video resources in, all your businesses will have the opportunity to join this platform with the city. And what I mean by that is we'll build a registry website and a program for your city. In that registry, your residents and your businesses have different factors they can go in. First step is they can say, hey, I have cameras. I would like to cooperate with the city police department if there's ever an issue around me. This costs nothing. They go in, they register their cameras, they give you who they are, where they are, how many cameras, how to contact them. And then they become a little dot on your operational map. And what that does for law enforcement is if you have an incident that arises and there's cameras out there, instead of the police having to go through the neighborhood or the business community knocking on doors, hey, do you have video? Yes, we have video. Well, can I get access to it? The crime just occurred. Yeah, I don't have access. The manager will be back in 3 days. Well, what has that done now is it's pushed you that far along in the investigation. Now you got to wait 3 more days to get access to it. If they're in the registry, we can send an email quickly out to those people. Hey, this crime just occurred. If you have any video that shows the elements of that crime, this is the time period. They can quickly click on a link, send that video right back to your detectives and your officers. So they have direct access to it immediately. The second part of that is, as a business, they can say, look, if something happens at my business and we call 911, we want you to be able to see what's going on at our business right now. So they can register, and then what they do is they purchase a core device. It's a little appliance that sits at their location that connects that video live to the police department as they're responding to an emergency call for service. What that does is now you have situational awareness. The police know what they're going into. If it's still in progress, they're seeing the perpetrators on scene. They're seeing them leaving. They're seeing what kind of cars they're getting into. This information that is dispatched live to the officers as they respond. Whereas we get a 911 call from a citizen going, I just witnessed a robbery. Did you see what they were wearing? I think they had a blue jacket on. I think they were wearing, white pants. So you get all these descriptors from multiple people and they're all kind of different. But if you have that live video, now you're isolating who we're looking for. Your resources can go to that actual event and the person we're looking for, the vehicle we're looking for, not taking the disparity of what 10 different people may have said. But what happens ultimately is law enforcement officers, they're doing their due diligence to respond, to get the people involved, to solve the crime. But when we have these factors coming in, how many times do you see social media posts where it ain't me, you got the wrong person? And the officers are like, hold on, you meet the description. We're trying to work this out. They're trying to do everything right. Ultimately, law enforcement, we find the wrong people a lot of times. And what it does is it starts an argument. It starts, hey, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're picking on me, it's not me. One of the goals we have is try to bring that down to where it's almost non-existent, to the point that we're actually finding the right people faster and we're eliminating that. And what that does for an agency is it cuts down on complaints. It'll cut down on the resources now that have to be used after a complaint comes in to investigate it. Also cuts down on the PR side of, now we have to explain we were trying to do everything right. But that snippet of that video is all people are looking at. They're not looking at the whole picture. So if we can cut that down to where it's happening less and less, it makes for a better relationship between the community and law enforcement. What we're going to do with all that data is we're going to take it, and officers are going to have access to it on their phones, on their computers in their cars, on their desktops, in the dispatch center. So what that means now is that officer has all these resources to be able to see that live and to be able to move on it immediately. So if their computer in the car ain't working, they got their phone, or if they're already out of their car responding to a scene, now they have that where they can see that video on their phones. And that information can be shared live with whoever they decide to do it. That is all controlled by the donor. The donor gives all the permissions of if you get it, when you get it, how you get it. And then the police department decides who in the department can see it, when can they see it. So there's a whole big permission-based use of that video. And then there's an audit trail. So I can audit any user or any camera at any time to see, is somebody looking at this camera too much and doing something else with it? Or who's watching it and how long are they watching it? So there's an automatic audit trail that's immediate to the administrators that they can follow this. What we want is we want the community to understand we're building this to make them safer, and we're not overseeing what they're doing. We're taking in that video that's already out there and giving it to the police immediately instead of after the fact. Next slide, please. What does it mean for you? Build the community trust and relationship. Provide a platform that becomes a force multiplier. Provides the ability to properly allocate the resources and the increased ability to respond and solve crime. All of that I just talked about is basically building that. It's make it so you're using your officers' time wisely. You're finding those perpetrators, you're arresting those perpetrators, and try not to involve the innocent citizens that are out there just because they match the description. Next slide. Once Forest Park purchases a Fusus platform, they can now share all their assets with the other agencies, what we just talked about. Able to view the cameras and ALPRs with numerous agencies at no additional cost. And we talked about how that can be in excess of 10,000 up to 20,000 feeds. When Clayton PD comes on, once they build their platform out with agreements between the city and Clayton PD, you can now see what the assets they have, the license plate readers, the live cameras that they have, and your investigators can use those, and then you share back to them what you have. So now everybody has access to that with the permissions granted by the owner of that video. Next slide. One of the things we do within the company is when we build that registry, we have a connect team. This community connect team actually works on the behalf of the city, and we target the locations y'all ask us. If y'all say, hey, this is the part of the city where our call volume is the highest, you identify those apartment communities, those businesses. We work with you and go out and explain to these folks what we're trying to do and solicit their registry, solicit their input of the video resources. We do that on your behalf. Next slide, please. If you go to the Atlanta Connect site, they do a live update on their streams. This is actually very old, but the green numbers where it says help keep Atlanta safe. That shows 3,782 cameras that are registered and 5,900 that are actually being used. If you pull that up today, it's going to be closer to 6,000 registered and 10,000 live cameras that the city of Atlanta is actually operating today in their real-time crime center. Couple different success stories. And I'll just touch on a couple of them. The top left, that was a gunshot detector that went off. Atlanta police has put cameras that are corresponding in areas where their gunshot detectors are. The officers got the call. They immediately saw it. They went, they pulled the camera up as they're responding, and they reviewed it before they got there. And when they reviewed it, in the top right of that picture, there's a black SUV on the street. They were able to go back to the time frame of the gunshot, roll the video backwards before they ever got there. They see the guy go in the vehicle, come out, raise his hand in the air, and it corresponded to the time the gunshot went off. From that view, they couldn't tell he had a gun, but they were able to coordinate and review all that together. When they get there, it's not me, you got the wrong person. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, we've got witnesses. Finally, they said, look, here's the video. He goes, okay, the gun's in the car under the seat. So now they got an admission, they got the gun out of the car, all because of the video integration that was tied into that shot spotter. Next slide, please. So we will have the city of Forest Park up and running in 30 to 45 days from the day we start your platform. Most companies that are out there that do similar to what we do, it's anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. In prime example, Gwinnett County PD signed a deal October of 2020 with another company for $8.6 million over 5 years. They still don't have a platform up and running. So we kind of pride ourselves on what we do for the price that we do it. If I can get a few more minutes, I'd like to show you the live platform and kind of give you just a piece of what goes on in the live actual platform. I just have to log in over. So this is an operational map. This is actually Minneapolis. And Minneapolis, Minnesota was our first place that we were up and running. We were actually up and running 2 months. So we were tried and tested very hard. We learned a lot of lessons. We made a lot of changes and a lot of upgrades to our system. And in saying that, if you come on as a customer, anything that we do to upgrade our system, or if you come and say, hey, we have this software we'd like to put in it, if we don't have it, we'll work on putting it in. It's going to cost us. So everything that we can add benefits, we keep the customers out. So any upgrades we do and all of that costs customers. This is US Bank Stadium. This is where Minnesota Vikings play. But as you can see, all these cameras are plotted on the map. If I want to look at any of these cameras, I'm just going to click on them. And what's going to happen is they're going to populate on the map. Now, if this was a dispatch call for service, cameras are going to automatically populate on the map with the call for service for the officer. So these cameras here belong to the US Bank Stadium, which is a private entity. And then I'm going to go across the street and I'm going to open one more camera. This camera belongs to the city of Minneapolis. So what we've done at Fusus is these first 3 cameras belong to the stadium, which is a private entity, and they run it on the digital line. This is one of the major cameras. Video camera on the far right belongs to the city that runs on a mouse. Milestone and Vigilant are the major competitors. What Fusus has been able to do is now we put those in the same place. So we've been able to come in as an agnostic company, push all that stuff. And just to show you the quality, and we're going off the wireless here. That is in front of it, the train station on the right. This is a live view from.
You're good.
Yes, yes.
And this is a live view from the stadium. I'm going to close all these real quick. I'm going to slide up. I'm going to do 2 things and then I'll be done. One of the other things that we can do is we can take any camera that you currently own and make it an AI searchable camera. What that means is using our Fusus cores, I can take those cameras and now make them smart. Now make them where I can search things on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do search detections. And I'm going to be put on the spot here. We're going to go in, pull these 4 cameras up. We're going to look for a person. We'll say they got a blue top. It's after Labor Day, so they can't have white. We'll say brown pants. I can go in and actually do male, female, backpack, bag. The more stuff I put in there, the longer it's going to take to download. So we'll skip that. But I'm going to go back for 24 hours on those 4 cameras, and I'm going to search for what I just put in there. I got 50 results back in a live, real quick, looking for a blue top and brown. So what I do from here is I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to go, okay, there we go.
That's him.
Further description. Got a black backpack?
I got a blue top. Shit.
It say I had a little more description. They said he had a black backpack, a white male. I'm gonna say, hey, this is the guy we're looking for. So I'm gonna go in here, pull that up, and then I can go view a clip. What view a clip does is this gonna give me 15 seconds before he entered the camera, 15 seconds after. Because he may not have been by himself. He may have been with somebody. Or what did he do in that time frame of him coming in and out of this picture? So we'll give it a couple seconds. There's a couple tops on the bike. So we'll see where he comes into the screen real quick. So that call hasn't gone out for service and those cops don't know anything about it. I'm going to go, this is my guy. I'm going to go here and do what's called a screenshot. So now, just off of that video, I can come here and isolate this individual, or if it was a vehicle, screenshot, share, pick who I want to share it to. I'm going to just say demo team, but that you could do with all your officers. You could do just a task force. And then I'm sending that. So what's happening is I've just sent that image to every police officer that's working that area. So when we talked earlier about trying to get the right people, now they all know exactly what we're looking for. So this was all done from the time I pulled the camera, searched it, and sent it. So we have now sent all that data right up to those officers. So those white cops that just went up the street don't have computers, but they have a cell phone. They can get that alert. And that's it. Any questions about that? Then I'll show you one other thing we talked about with the registry. So all these little yellow dots, these are folks that have said, hey, I have cameras. I want to help whenever I can. If you need something, let me know. It don't cost anything for them to get into the registry. So if I've got a crime that just occurred, I want to go in and say, hey, I need to see if anybody can help me. So I can just go ahead and draw a circle around these dots. What to do is I'm going to go request media. So now I'll punch in a case number. I'll put in a description. Hey, between 1 and 2 a.m. on Monday morning the 2nd, we had an incident that occurred in your area. We're looking for a white camera. If you have any video that matches that, we'll share it. I send one email to all of those people. In that email, they get a direct link. In that link, all they got to do is download the video. So now that part of going back and knocking on doors, asking for video, I don't have to do all that. I save all the time. The other thing I like to point out is, there's neighborhoods where crimes are occurring, and people are scared to talk law. If you can push this registry out, they can actually submit what I call anonymous videos to their neighbors. You're going to know as a police where it came from. If the neighbors don't see the police knocking on the door, if that officer spends 10 minutes at this house and 30 seconds at this house, and the bad person's out there, what do they think's going on? These people are talking and giving. So that helps the community trust law enforcement better, share it without everyone else knowing that this is it. I'll just give you a quick part of why.
Thank you. Councilman Antoine.
Yes, I was curious, ladies and gentlemen, last council meeting, we had another presentation from a company that basically spoke about shot spotters. And they came and did a great presentation about when there's a gun, like a gunshot, and they can locate where the area is. So I was just curious, like, how would that work together with all the information the officers gotta deal with and all that? Would it work coincide with the shot spotters with you guys, or is this like
I
confused.
can answer that if you'd like me to. So like the example I gave in Atlanta, that's a company called ShotSpotter that they're running. There's 3 different companies out there. We integrate with all 3 of the 3 major ones that do gunshot detection. But like I stated, is Atlanta made sure they put a city-owned camera close to all their gunshot detectors for the purpose of if that gunshot detector goes off and I don't have a camera next by, all I get is an alert that gunshots were fired. But all that's going to do is tell my officers, hey, somebody's shooting a gun. But if I've got cameras that are integrated, we push all of that into a single platform. So now if you have LPRs in that area, you have cameras and you go, hey, gunshot detector went off. I see a white 4-door passenger car taking off. Now I go to my LPRs that are also in the platform. I punch in, hey, I'm looking for a white 4-door car on this camera. Did anybody pick it up? Now I got a license plate. So I got a gunshot, I got a video that shows a car, and I got an LPR that's giving me a tag number. Now I have all kind of investigative tools. But that's what we do at Fusus is we pull all those resources into one thing that makes it easier to do the job and faster. Because when we talk about real-time crime center, what we're talking about is getting that asset now, working it now, and solving the crime as fast as we can. Not coming back 2 to 3 days later, trying to track a video down, trying to identify a perp, and then going after them that much longer. Because the longer we wait, what other crimes do they do? And I'll just tell you one more example. In Atlanta, they got up and running the end of October. They had a shooting. It was a 6-month-old that was in the backseat of a car. Mom's driving. They had nothing to do with this. It was 2 cars shooting at each other. Mom's sitting in the convenience store parking lot. She hears something. Bullet came through the trunk, struck the 6-month-old and killed it in the backseat in the car seat. So Atlanta immediately went into their camera network using the Fusus platform, and they were able to identify the vehicle within 2 to 3 hours. I think it was 17 hours later, they knew who they were looking for, what they were looking for, and made an arrest. But it was all done through the input of pulling that video and having direct access. Because if they'd had to go to the resources that they were using to get the video in a normal pattern, it would have been 2 or 3 days before they identified that car. But they actually found that vehicle. I think it was a gold Ford Explorer that night, identified the passenger that leaned out the window with the assault rifle and fired the rounds.
Councilman Gutierrez.
I think it's, hello?
Out.
They don't want me to talk.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's sad that we need this, but it's essential. And I like that how you all collaborate and you work with all the other platforms. That's really impressive. A little scary how all that can happen. You have access to all that data, but it's needed, Thank you.
Councilwoman Wells.
Yes, I like to just pull up the video. It's kind of scary. I feel like I'm being watched all the time, but it's definitely something that the city could benefit from. So I appreciate your presentation. The only thing that confuses me is because the last meeting, it was so many other presentations about people doing sound like the same thing. So does that have what was that? Like why are we
The presentations at the last meeting, it was ShotSpotter and Omnalert. And they're both gun detection type companies. And one uses audio, which is ShotSpotter, and the Omnalert uses video to detect guns. This here is just like a camera system that can connect all those devices to one platform. Is that
We are a
correct?
software platform that connects everything together to work together.
Including those 2 entities as well. Not yet. Councilman Mayor?
Yes, I like this. I got a 2-part question, I guess. How far out will it go, or do we have to determine where we want to put it in the neighborhoods or just right in the city? And how long would it take to bring the field officers up to speed as far as the mechanisms with the system?
So if you're talking about putting the ShotSpotter into place, or are you talking about, ours is a software platform. We're an internet-based platform.
So
So,
the platform's all the way out, right?
yep. So if we throw the platform 30 to 45 days, we will integrate everything that you have. As long as we don't hit a door that's locked from one of your software companies, we'll be able to put everything in. But right now we're integrating over 200 different camera sources. I think it's like 105 different police. When I talk about LPR, ShotSpotter,
Right.
We're integrating about 105 different companies right now. So all the major players out there in LPRs, drones, robots, shot detection, we're integrating all those companies right now.
Right.
So on our side, 30 to 45 days, we'll have it up and running. And then training, it's very user friendly. And we talked about earlier with the chief was we got officers in Atlanta that's never been trained that have it on their phones because it's an app based. And through that app base, they're going, hey, can't we do this? And they're solving crimes without ever going through the training while they're on the scene of something. So it's very user friendly. We'll do all the training in-house for you. It's part of the platform fee.
Well, the biggest concern that I have is a lot of our less violent crimes and stuff is in the outlying areas. It's not right around Main Street and, you know, it's in the neighborhoods. So how hard is that going to be to incorporate out to that point to where the officers that patrol that area can get the information?
It's all based on where you want to put cameras and based on the community response to the register that we set up and getting that feedback from the businesses. It all depends on how many cameras you bring into the system.
Well, who determines, I guess, Mr. Cook,
That we do.
where the cameras go, huh?
That would be determined by the city and I guess whatever vendor we use to
Okay.
implement cameers.
Well, I'm for anything that's gonna make the community safe. Thank
How
you.
much is it to start the system?
So we have several different packages and it's based on the number of inputs you're bringing into it. So there's a basic package, which is 150 inputs. There's a pro package, which is 500 inputs. And then the enterprise package, which is 1,500 inputs. So when you look at those packages, the basic doesn't give you the registry program, but the pro package, which is the medium, is 75,000 a year, gives you everything that we talked about today. Then the enterprise is the 125 annual subscription price with 1,500. So the basic is 150 inputs, but you lose a lot of the functionality because of the integrations that we have to do. And I talked with the chief about that. We can work some things out if we have to work those in. But when you look at the number of inputs that are coming in, that's your LPRs, your camera feeds, your community input. That's kind of where we need to start a base price for you. And I think with the size of Forest Park, we're looking at a pro package, which is around the $75,000 range is what we charge for that.
Councilwoman James? No? All right, any other questions?
That's a year.
That is a year. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Item 4, council discussion on amending ordinance on text amendments. Background and history. The Planning and Community Development Department is proposing 2 text amendments to the Code of Ordinances. PC-2022-07 includes an update to Article P, exterior finishing standards and requirements on residential dwellings. Also included is an update to Article E, tree protection plan. On August 18th, 2022, both text amendments were approved by the Planning Commission Board. An update to Article P, exterior finishing standards and requirements on residential dwellings ordinance, Section 8-2-160, Section 8-2-161, and Section 8-2-162 has been proposed. This update creates a standard for residential design. The previous ordinance was not explicit in its requirements, leaving too much room for interpretation. This update will clarify the requirements. An update to the tree protection ordinance. The purpose of this update to this ordinance is to provide standards for the conservation or replacement of trees as part of the land development and building construction process within the city. The previous ordinance was not explicit in its standards, leaving too much room for interpretation. This update is more specific within its standards. Ms. Gardner, you have the floor, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. As you mentioned, for each item, we'll start with residential dwellings, 8-2-160. It just gives more specifics on the type of exterior finishings that can now be provided on the front side of construction of single-family residential dwellings. That was one change. And then it also added additional language that was a little bit more specific in terms of what materials would be prohibited. That's item B. And then D gave exceptions for the types of products that could be used based on the situation with the residential structure. And then we added section E, which talks about the architectural design features on single-family attached and or detached dwelling units. So those were the changes for the exterior finishing standards that was added for residential dwellings. If we go to, oh, and one more thing, for windows and doors, section B, 2 additional elements were added, which list the prohibited materials, which will be metal siding, vinyl siding, wood siding, and metal canopies. And also it gives a list of exceptions, such as if a resident's home is already constructed with some type of vinyl, then if they're only replacing it, then they could replace it with what has been damaged. If we go to set Article E, the tree protection ordinance, again, it just gives a little bit more teeth to that particular section. Basically, it adds language where 20% of an existing tree caliper should be maintained. And then it also goes into speaking on the tree replacement that a developer or landowner would have to comply with when developing particular land. And also it goes into a tree recompense pool that a person or company could pay into.
Thank you. Councilman Antoine, questions or comments?
Okay, so we're talking about the tree protection ordinance here. I'm not sure if you can answer this, but this is a big concern. I know this in the state of Georgia that we have this rule, Mike, that if a tree in your property falls on another tree in another property, it's actually that it's that person's fault, the tree that fell on the person's property. Does that cover that in this ordinance?
That particular subject that you're implying does not come under this statute.
Where does it come up under?
I would have to actually look in the code, but for purposes of what we're doing with the text amendment, it's only talking about the percentage of the tree canopy that exists in the city that would have to be replaced, or a person would have to pay into the tree protection recompense fund.
Councilman, what you're referring to is part of sort of general case law that's developed over the decades. And this ordinance doesn't address that at all. This only addresses when developers are developing their land. What do they have to do to preserve a minimum level of tree coverage on that property?
Councilman Gutierrez.
What's the tree recompense? What is that? Ms. Gardner?
So for instance, if a developer developed and let's just say a certain percentage of trees were, cut down, then they would actually pay the city a particular amount, and that would go into a fund, and then the city would have the authority to then replant trees on city property or wherever we see a need.
Like that, the Lorax law.
Councilwoman Wells. Councilman Mears. Councilwoman James.
Yes, ma'am. Does this, so speaking of the single family dwelling first, is this speaking to if you're remodeling your home, or is this just new development?
If you are remodeling your home, and that would be pretty much on a case-by-case basis, but you would be allowed to use the existing material which that is currently on your home.
Okay, so like, for example, I'm planning on remodeling.
And this covers the exterior.
Right, so in the front of my home, I want to build a porch, a wraparound porch. And I noticed that you have, and of course, my house is fully brick. And you're saying that if the front side is fully constructed of brick, then I don't understand. I don't know if I understand what.
So
our
the section you're referring to, section A, the exterior finishing.
Mhm.
So in the original section, it only stopped at fully constructed brick or stone or stucco. So for this purpose, it adds additional types of materials that can be included. Where you see the cement fiberboard, wood siding, or similar material as approved.
So has there been cases that's come up that made the planning department consider making it more defined? Is there a particular issue that has arisen that kind of brings us to the table, or is this more proactive?
Not to my knowledge, I would have to say it's more proactive.
Okay. The other question I have is regarding the trees. So of course we have developers coming, and we I can think of one in particular on Main Street, the apartment complex Forest Manor, I think the name of it is. But behind there, it's just full of trees. And the owner that owns it is planning on developing that area. So of course, most of those trees are gonna have to come down. When they first, I think the apartment complex is like really old, and they had initially planned to make that whole area apartment complex when they first started, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But now his plan is to make it into I want to say he said townhomes. I can't remember now, but or condos, I don't know. But my question is, with this new ordinance, with this new update, when he goes to remove some of those trees, he now has to pay a fee for those trees.
He doesn't have to pay that fee. He can actually designate a number of trees that he decides to leave on that property before he just clear cuts it. And that's one of the things that we would have to have a discussion with the development prior to doing the whole site plan review process and explain these particular code sections to him.
Okay. And then does this affect people that have already, are they kind of the people that have already cut their trees? Is it grandfathered, or are you gonna go back and say?
This would just apply to anything moving forward.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Item 5, council consideration of an amendment to the elections ordinance barring persons that have violated election laws from serving as election officials. Background and history. It is proposed that the city's election ordinance be amended to include the following language. No person may serve as an election official in the city of Forest Park if such person has been found to have violated the election laws of the state of Georgia or any other state of the United States of America. In addition to the final adjudication of any court of competent jurisdiction, a factual determination of the Georgia State Elections Board shall be conclusive as to whether a person has violated the election laws of the state of Georgia. This provision is intended to enhance trust and confidence in the city's elections by prohibiting persons who have previously been found to have violated election laws from serving as election officials. Councilman Antoine, any questions or comments?
No comments.
Councilman Gutierrez. Councilwoman Wells. Councilman Mears.
Yes, I got a few, please.
Sure.
I sort of implemented this or got it started. I just feel like that we need to put a little more bite into the people that are background checks and things like that, that we put in these positions just for clarity and to show the people in Forest Park that everything's above board, and we, anything can happen. In the past, it's happened, and the present has happened. This last election has happened. So it just gives us a little more, should give the people of Forest Park a little more confidence that the elections are gonna be up and up.
Thank you. Councilwoman James. No, all right, thank you. Item 6, discussion and action regarding guidelines for usage of discretionary ward funds and capital outlay funds. Background and history. We have been asked to review and prepare a set of guidelines regarding the usage of the discretionary funds and capital outlay funds each council member is entitled to spend in furtherance of their duties as a member of the city council. The city manager is seeking council's direction on the guidelines presented. Dr. Cooper, you want to provide a brief summary?
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is the guidelines that was requested at our this year's budget talks. I did find that there were guidelines already for council, so we are presenting those guidelines with a few changes to requests, you know, to basically figure out what and how each council member would be able to use the war funds and the capital outlay funds, and then we could release those funds back to council.
Councilman Antoine,
No, sounds good to me.
Councilman Gutierrez.
What's the timeline on this, Doc?
Timeline on,
Just letting us know, just because I have some things in
if it's
mind.
approved tonight, I mean, the funds could be placed back in tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
Because
thank you.
the direction from council is that after guidelines presented and approved, then those funds will be released.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Councilwoman Wells.
So right now, you taking that away, the award money away?
No.
Until we figure out.
No, you have the ward money, the capital outlay money.
Oh, okay.
Councilman Mears.
I'm fine.
Councilwoman James.
So I haven't had a chance to look at the restrictions or the guidelines. So what are some of the differences? You mentioned that we already had some in place, but there were some differences that was outlined. Can you tell me what those differences are?
Right, we've had, basically, the only thing that we asked is that the funds that are donated to the city actually be donated to the vendor via the council member, and checks not be written to the city, because that is really an accounting nightmare for finance to try to keep up with that. And basically, when council members get those donations from individuals, and for transparency, that money can be written out to that vendor that they are actually having them pay for. And two, basically to detail out the uses of council aids with soliciting funds or soliciting different things of that nature for the council. They would not be basically asked to do that. They would be basically there to follow up or assist council with those items.
Question,
Wait,
Doc.
hold on. Councilman Antoine, anything else? Councilman Gutierrez.
Yeah, just, I thought we were talking about ward fund, not ward funds, capital outlay money. What does this have to do with that?
It's all the same thing. I mean, the ward funds and capital outlay money, it was put together because, for the simple fact, your ward funds are basically used the way you deem them necessary as it's stated in the document. The capital outlay funds are used, and it's spelled out in the actual document. So if you want to use your ward funds for a program, that's fine. But if it comes to having someone donate to your ward funds to be used for a program, that's a nightmare for the finance department, because there is no separate line for that to be added to.
Okay.
Makes sense? I'm sorry.
It makes sense. I just thought it was capital outlay related. I didn't know it was the whole talks, but that makes sense as long as it's outlined.
Yeah, Councilwoman Wells.
Yeah, so the part I'm trying to understand, because you mentioned, so we have council aides to aid the council
Yes, ma'am.
and the things that the council have going on.
Right.
So you mentioned the council aides can't help with getting, okay, y'all take the money away for events and then you would get sponsors. And you saying that the council aide can't assist the council in getting sponsors. That's what this is about.
The council aid, no, it's not that they can't aid in getting sponsors. They should not be the one initiating calling sponsors on behalf of the council.
But what does that have to do discussion of regarding guidelines for usage of discretionary? That don't have nothing to do with
Because
that.
most ward funds that council has been discussing with me have been used for different programs that they would want to receive donations for. So with that said, if a council member has received a donation from someone and they ask their council aide to follow up on that, that's one thing. But to say, we'll call all these people to get donations, that's not what the council aide should be doing. They shouldn't be raising funds for council.
Is that
makes
unethical? That's something that a council aide can't do.
So you said initiating, but we can
We
initiate then.
A major part of that is to eliminate the possibility of any ethical shortfalls on the part of the staff. And so what it's doing is the council members, you all, the mayor would be free to go out and solicit. And then if there's a follow-up, hey, you know, this business agreed to contribute, then the staff can then go and then finish that process in terms of either collecting goods donated or arranging for the vendors to be paid, that sort of stuff. But they wouldn't be initiating, and that's again to avoid any issue with city staff soliciting funds on behalf of any particular issue.
Councilman Mears,
That's good. I understand that.
Councilwoman James.
So I have a question. So this actually goes back, I guess, Mike, to when we first started. Well, I guess when I first started. My very first events were the recognizing the teachers and recognizing the teacher of the year and all of that. And so I solicited donations from the public because I knew I couldn't use city funds to, you know, feed the teachers or whatever. So I solicited for donations. And at that time, I was told, or I guess now that we're kind of getting everything worked out, we're getting it all worked out. But at that time, for example, I could have a line item that said teacher appreciation, and whatever donations were made, they wrote it to the city of Forest Park and it went to that line item, teacher appreciation. So when I had a dinner or whatever for the teachers, I was able to say, okay, let me get a check to, you know, whatever for the catering, whatever. And that came out of that fund. So I guess what we're saying now, Dr. Cooper, if I'm correct, is that it's better not to do it that way because it makes for accounting not correct. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it not only could make for accounting not correct, basically keeping up with 6 different, you know, council members, accounts and different events, and this person given this and that person given that, it makes for a nightmare for finance, which is already overburdened with just the daily processes that we have to do. So that's why we are asking that if that is the case, and council will be soliciting those donations, that, you know, based on the program that has been done, if you're going to do a dinner and it's going to be paid for with a sponsorship, that sponsor just go ahead, write that check on behalf of that council member to that dinner, that restaurant, they go ahead and take care of the dinner for you.
All right, thank you.
Basically eliminating the middle person.
Let's see. Item 7, discussion regarding the city sanitation contract. Background and history for the city council's discussion and direction around the city's sanitation contract. Dr. Cooper, you want to provide a brief update before I open it up for questions?
This was actually requested by Councilwoman James to be placed on, turn it over to Councilwoman.
Yes, so I actually had asked Dr. Cooper to provide me with some information regarding, and I'm sorry, what is this about the? Oh, no, this is, okay, never mind. Lost my train of thought. Okay, so with the sanitation services, right now we have an RFP that's out that we're seeking to get a new contract or new information on sanitation. And so I want to propose to the council that we cancel the RFP and we work with the company that we already have. We have Waste Management as a company that is already in our community. Part of the research that I've done is, they had their issues during COVID with staff and things of that nature. But otherwise, they provide the services that is needed. And so I think it would be more costly to the city to continue to go after an RFP process and try to get a new bidder. And I just don't think that it's a good use of the city's resources and funds to go forward with trying to find an RFP, getting a new company, other than working with the staff that working with the company that we have. So that is my suggestion to the council. If we could just cancel the RFP and work with Waste Management.
Councilman Antoine?
I am so curious to see what Mr. Jeter has to say about this, because it's easy for us to, come up here and say cancel stuff, but there's a lot of more work to be done. Jeter, Mayor, can Mr. Jeter
Yes,
come up?
sir. Mr. Jeter, you have the floor, sir, when you get up here.
Gerard Jeter, Procurement Manager for the City of Forest Park. I really need to understand the question. Because the RFP is already on the street.
Okay,
I'm
so you
trying to
want me to
find
ask
what
you a
the issue
question?
really is.
So I think Councilwoman James wanted us to cancel it and start up like a whole new process.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
No, I didn't say start a new process. I said cancel it,
Cancel it.
period,
Oh,
and work with the
period.
company that.
And
we-
work with Waste Management.
Okay, so if we cancel it all period, how you feel about that?
Well, I can tell you a lot of work went into this RFP. We identified the scope through the work that Public Works has been doing with Waste Management. I think the reason that they were going out for an RFP was to try and get a better situation in terms of all the complaints that we've received, numerous complaints. From my understanding, the company has not been forward in terms of identifying and trying to clear up some of these complaints. Competition is healthy. And so we're just trying to find out if we can get a better deal. RFP went out specifically to 11 different companies. It's on the Georgia procurement website. So we're giving everybody in their business the opportunity to participate. If you all want to go into negotiation with Waste Management and identify all the issues, then that's a whole nother thing. But I know we extended the existing contract, because that contract ended in July. So now the contract we're into now ends in December of this year. So whatever we do, we need to make a decision, because in a minute, nobody's gonna pick up your trash. And you're really gonna be in a situation then. Now, I've expedited this RFP, the timeline. We will receive the proposals in October. The evaluation committee has already been set. So as soon as we get the proposals in, and I do want to reiterate that we only received 2 proposals last time. So really the competition was among those 2. I don't know how many people are going to participate this time. But we were in negotiations with the top ranked proponent at that time. And I think we were making some good strides, but we really need to make a decision, because again, December 31st, we won't have anybody to pick up trash.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yeah, like you said, Mr. Jeter, I think competition is healthy, and I think, it's capitalism. We just can't settle and let people feel like they can treat us however they want. I think the complaints are valid. I've talked to people at Public Works. I haven't had community complaints. They're honestly very happy with Waste Management, but we do have, we pay for the services like we pay for everything else. So I mean, if anything, we're gonna weigh what's better, and see what that is. I don't agree with you, Councilwoman James, of canceling this, especially if we already put all this work into it.
Councilwoman Wells.
I agree with you, Councilwoman James, because the complaints, again, the citizens pay for it, not Public Works. So talking to Public Works and getting their input, no disrespect, I love y'all, no disrespect. But the community is what matters, and we base our decisions off of the needs and wants of the community. So, and everybody knows I'm not a fan of waste management. I'm not a fan of waste management's transfer station being in the middle of Ward 4. But as far as the services, just like you said, Councilman Gutierrez, these issues, these complaints that people put in, I would like to see them because I'm in my ward every day. I'm talking to people every day, and I don't get complaints about the trash pickup. Things like that are gonna happen. People are gonna skip over and that's normal stuff. And that's whether you have this company or another company. But just to start all over, I just don't see the need for it. But again, if it's complaints, please let me see, because I haven't heard them or seen them. And before we make a decision like that, I would like to see these complaints that the people are talking about. And then to go back with, as far as the RFP, I don't know what Councilman Antoine was talking about, but it's kind of like a application process. You go and apply for a job, you have 10 people apply for the job, and somebody's gonna get the email that they didn't get it. They went with another candidate. It's no different. It doesn't take a rocket science.
Councilman Mears.
Well, I'm in agreement with most of the board here, but we got two double-bladed sword here. The transfer station is owned by them, and that gives them a heads up. But we don't, like you said, there wasn't but one or two people that applied to our
Responded.
opening. And we don't want to get down into I call it a spitting contest, to make sure that they can get together and do whatever they want. So whatever we have to do, price-wise, I mean. So the one that we got the transfer station here, we need to be able to work with them if they don't get in bed with the only other one or two that tries to apply. And the answering the people's concerns about the garbage pickup, I don't know. I just don't have that many complaints in my ward. At least I don't get them. Using myself as one example, they're Johnny on the spot. It's just whatever the council decides to do. I'm in agreement with you, but you got to be careful because they will get wadded up, and you will get a higher rate in the long run if we don't go ahead and make some kind of decision like you're talking about before the end of the time frame.
Councilwoman James.
I'll just say that I was able to sit in a meeting to talk with I guess Public Works and Waste Management and the city manager, and some of the things that we talked about, or what I recollect, and I know they probably talked about some other stuff when I left, but about the customer service and having the online platform for our residents, and also having a phone number that they can call where they can call Public Works directly. Call Waste Management directly instead of calling Public Works. In my estimation, that's going to cut out a lot of the internal, I guess the internal complaints that we get, because they are big enough, and it's a multi-billion-dollar company. They have a piece here in Forest Park, but they can handle the phone calls. We don't have to take the phone calls as a Public Works department. Let them handle the phone calls that come in, and we get the information about the calls. I think that's something that's beneficial to us. I think there's a lot of benefits that we can utilize just by keeping the lines of communication open. And that's what I feel. And I just feel like it will end up hurting us in the long run if we, and like you said, Director Jeter, I'm sorry, I called you director, but maybe one day. the contract ends in December. We're in September right now. Even if the RFP ends in, you said October, we start getting people in, even if we get people come in, and that's a big if, that bids on it, the process isn't over at that point. We got to look at what they're bidding, how much they're offering, and, go from there. And then by the time we get to December, if, we don't have anyone, then, or if we have someone, but we got to pay this huge extra cost to our residents, it's just not fair. I just think we just need to continue with what we have and offer a existing contract, long-term contract with Waste Management.
All right, Madam Mayor.
Wait, I'm sorry, let me give my comment here. I really don't care who acquires our business. What I do care about is that the process that we established is followed and followed through completely. And so this starting the process and then just stopping it in the middle is just something that just doesn't rest well with me. And that's where I stand on this issue.
Okay, so we stand together. So are you for this or not?
Pardon?
Are you for this?
I'm for the process.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Wait, hold on, let me go back around. Councilman Gutierrez, anything else? Councilwoman Wells?
Yes, I want to know how much we're paying month to month right now without a contract. How much are we paying Waste Management?
Public Works had that information.
Do we need to order pizza? It's gonna be that long.
That what it look like?
I can't get good this.
During the contract,
Read the whole thing.
$323,509.61. This first year,
No, month to month.
this first month was $507,382.20, not including all the other restrictions they're trying to push on us, that they were trying to say that it was added on to the extension when we only extended the contract and the pricing. And if y'all had seen that brochure, y'all would have seen a few of the stipulations.
Councilman Mears?
No, I won't finish.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
thank you for the information, but to me, and this is just me, and everybody know I'm transparent, and I wouldn't say I don't care which one we choose, because I do care, and this is gonna impact the people. But I feel like it's an issue, maybe y'all need to communicate, because I feel like it's an issue for Waste Management and Public Works and not Waste Management and the citizens, and I serve the citizens. So I'm not getting to that cat fight, like I really think that's an issue, and y'all can communicate and figure that out. But as far as just starting over, yeah, Jeter, you do a great job. So continuing the process, that's okay with me. But as far as changing what company we have, I don't agree with it, and then the same thing, the transfer station, it's in the middle of a residential area. That's not gonna change. That's what's impacting the citizens the most, and nobody's talking about that. But we want to go back and forth about who we want to transfer the trash. We just want the trash transferred. And if the people in the community that's paying the bills aren't complaining, then, I don't get that. I don't get it, but.
Councilman Mears?
Yes, I was going to ask him, the other gentleman, what is some of the reasoning why we have such a low turnout on bidding on our services? You said just got one or two, or I'm not trying to put.
Yeah, we only had received 2 proposals the last time we put the RFP on the street.
Even at that kind of money, did they give a reason why nobody wants it?
Waste Management had bought everybody out except for about
Few.
3 or 4, BFI, Republic, Waste Management.
American.
American was the four largest companies left in Atlanta area
Waste Pro.
and Waste Pro.
Well, we don't want to wait around and get in a situation where we're locked in and we don't have anywhere to turn, or let them think we don't have anywhere to turn, because when they get a lock on you, they're gonna squeeze you. That's just nature. So, we gotta try to do something to get in between here and give us some leverage to where they don't say, well, I'll just wait on them. They'll die on the vine, and then they'll come to us. You know what I'm saying? We're in that kind of situation right now. We need some way to negotiate or have something to negotiate with. But there again, I'm like Ms. Wells, the transfer station is not going anywhere because they own it and it's locked in, and we can't afford to buy it. And so we need to come to some kind of agreement on it, like she said, for the betterment of the people of Forest Park.
Just speaking for myself, if you don't mind, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
One of the things was calling and making appointments for bulk removal, organic material. If you think the citizens would be willing to go on the website and or call Waste Management to have the organics picked up instead of them burning fuel going down every street, then I think that should be a large discount to the city. That should lower the price down instead of going up. If you think the citizens would be willing to go on a website or a phone call.
Right. Thank you.
I got one more comment, Mayor. That's a good idea, but I've got people in my ward. We've had training and brochures and videos and everything. And I got a bunch of people, bunch of houses that still don't know how to put the garbage out. You can ride around in my ward and one day it just pop up, and next day they're gone. Go on the next street, you got one. So, it's something, it's not hard. I wouldn't think that they can get the training and everything down, but that would help a lot. Cause I know y'all probably get a lot of calls saying that, y'all missed my trash or this, that, and the other, when it's not really y'all's fault. You have to go back and do that.
Well, sir, one of the things that I had in mind was to do the mailing and then partner up with code enforcement. And since y'all passed that rental program, that could be in a packet. When they change tenants, they hand over all the information, they get a packet from sanitation with all the rules and regulations. So we'll keep that rotating door a little tighter closed.
That's a good idea.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, Dr. Cooper. Okay. Item 8, discussion regarding a public safety increase, background and history for city council's discussion and direction around a public safety increase. And Councilwoman James, you wanted this on the agenda?
Yes.
You have the floor.
Yes, Madam Mayor. So this is the one that I started talking about the first time. I had asked Dr. Cooper to give me the numbers of what it would take to give our police department, with the exception of the chief and the deputy chief, a 15% increase, and our fire department, with the exception of the chief and the deputy chief, a 10% increase. Do you have those numbers, Dr. Cooper?
Those numbers were included with the package, Councilwoman.
Okay, so based upon, let me just flip to it. So based upon, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to kind of review it, but based upon the numbers, Dr. Cooper, is that something that's affordable for our city?
Based upon the numbers, I'm gonna say that it is affordable, but there are there's other undue consequences that we have been trying to address with pay. We're talking about a lot of pay compression, about a lot of salary inversions throughout the city, not just with police and fire. but as well as when you look at the current structure in the county of police departments, an additional, right now, Forest Park is the second highest paid department in the entire county. Only people that's paying more than us is the county. So with that said, with the additional pay, that would increase the PD's budget and fire budget substantially and would put us at that higher level, but that does not also include the other incentives that police and fire already get that other employees don't get. So I think, you know, not that I am against any employee getting pay increases or moving anything forward. I just think that if we're going to address pay inequities, we need to address it citywide and not just stop with public safety.
So let me just make a couple of references. So being the highest in the county really doesn't mean too much because of our county, because I know that we have those jurisdictions outside our county. There's a big push in really the country for our public safety. I know Florida gives a big bonus. I think it's $5,000 sign-in bonus for police officers. So they're looking for people to move to Florida. So there's a big competition out there for our public safety department. And so no disrespect to any of our city employees, but I feel like our public safety, especially our police department, put their life on the line every day. With the climate that we have, with the mental health issues, with all this other stuff that is faced with our police department, I think that compensation is not something that they should be concerned about. And I think that we want to try to maintain and keep those that we have. And I know with the new generation of officers that we're getting, you know, you pay them a couple $100 more and they're gone. And we want to let them know that we are appreciative of them and want them to stay. So if we are able to afford this, I would say, I would hope the council would agree with me that we move forward on making this happen for our public safety department.
Councilman Antoine?
Yeah, I'm definitely for salaries increase across the whole board. We all need it, but just the fact of the matter still is doing the right thing at the wrong time. Always, you know, the wrong thing to do. I am in favor of looking at the numbers to see how it'll affect us. I know there's a lot of revenue that's supposed to be coming in to offset everything, but I'm just curious to see the numbers to see if this is the right thing to do. But I am for raises across the whole board. I love my people, you guys. I just want to see the numbers based on, make a good decision.
Councilman Gutierrez?
I'm sorry, we've been sitting here for a long time. My Apple Watch told me to stand up twice already. And my ankle hurts. I love, you know, giving money to our employees. They are, you know, the motor in this city. But I don't know. I know when I asked Dr. Cooper about it, I really rely, you know, heavily on his leadership and department. So I want to do what's right. I would like to analyze those numbers there to see if this is the right decision. Talk to Chief also. I haven't talked to him about it. You know, because it is very competitive. It's the Wild West out here for police officers, and you know, people come and go. I really want to get to the bottom of what it is. If this is the main factor that we still have so many vacancies, I know it's a problem nationwide. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about this, but I do think that, you know, if it needs to be across the board, I guess, for a lot of other people that are doing hard work, and I understand Councilwoman James's argument of our officers risking their lives at all. I do not, you know, take that for granted. You know, as a veteran, I know how that is, just risking it every day. So I don't know. I need more time for this, honestly. Or I'm just too tired. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Um, I ain't gonna tell you what went through my head when I heard the 15% Councilwoman James. I'm just saying it has to make sense to me. I'm for whatever makes sense. And everybody know I'm a cheerleader for all of our employees. But I just, that's, to me, no, I'm not in favor of that. I'm definitely not in favor of that. If it would be across the board, then yes, but I don't feel like one department is more important than others. And just like Dr. Cooper said, we have employees right now. We had an employee leave Public Works after years and years for $1. For $1. And we just gave raises. And then now we want to come back and talk about a 15% raise for 2 departments. And I Chief Clemens, I love you. I think you do a great job. Chief Clark, I appreciate you and all, but I just don't think that's the right thing to do. It has to make sense for me to vote on it. And I never go against our employees getting anything because I feel like they deserve way more than they get. But like the city is not rich, you know, and then if we're gonna do it, let's do it across the board. Let's be fair because no group of employees is more important than the other. They all serve the people, they all serve the community, they all public servants to me, you know. So do across the board raise if there's, I'd be more inclined to speak on that, but not just public safety.
Councilman Mears.
Well, I'm gonna give y'all a little old fashioned talk here. I was raised in the union and I started off at $1.97. And they told me if I wanted to move up, get smart. And they had it on a merit, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months school year. And if you wanted to get to top money in your field, you had to go to school and get some kind of training. And I think we need to have some kind of merit raises where the people could come in, we've got a good starting pay and give them an incentive to get smarter and richer as they move up. These millennial young people coming in now, they're just jumping from fire to fire, getting all the money they can get. And I think if you give a person a chance to educate himself and get more money, you would have better luck at that than you would be just throwing money at them. So that's just food and thought in old fashioned way.
Councilman James.
Madam Mayor, if I may, and I know I'm probably putting the chiefs on the spot. She's like, no, don't put me on the spot. Okay, Chief Clark, can you come to speak or just a moment, if you would, about what a pay increase would do for your department?
Yeah. Okay, while Chief is coming, I just wanted to say, I don't think, and that's like you said, stuff is going on around Georgia, around the, you know, everywhere when it comes to policing. And I don't think the money is the issue because for one, and that's just like any other employee, you know what you're making when you sign up for the job. So now all of a sudden you get here, then money is an issue, so you want to leave. I think it's more to it than just the money. But I'm sorry, Chief, you can go ahead. I just wanted to put that out there.
First and foremost, good evening to Mayor Butler and the members of the governing body. I want to piggyback off what Councilwoman James said earlier about the millennials. About 2 weeks ago, I talked to one of my millennial supervisors. And the supervisor more or less told me, and kind of like the governing body said, they want things, they want money. And he said, Chief, if you don't give us things and money, another department across the street give it to us, we're gonna leave and badmouth you in the department. I was just told this about 2 weeks ago. And I realized that the city has to work within its constraints. But when we look at places like Sandy Springs, Stockbridge, and even East Point, it's almost like we're all fishing out of the same pond. And if we don't keep up with the salaries, we're going to continue to lose these offices because these millennials, they will leave. I've been talking to some of the millennials and they're telling me they will leave. For 50 cents more, they will leave. And I can't speak for the fire department, but I'm sure it's just going through some of the same things. When myself started some years ago, we looked at retirement. The millennials look at things in money. And if we can't compete, we're gonna lose offices.
Well,
And that's happening around the state, not only here in the state, happening around the country.
so there's a quote that I think the gentleman's name is Richard Branson. He owns like Virgin Records and like uber rich. But he says, train employees so well they can go anywhere, but treat them so good that they want to stay. And then I also understand, and given since the last pay increase that we gave, that gave us an increase in applicants. Like people started to apply, but the money is not going to keep them here. And so we also know that because we've had several people resign or retire for whatever reason they choose to do so. But I think kind of piggybacking on what Councilwoman Wells was saying, I think this calls into question a bigger problem we may be having that we may need to address as a council, which I would like to address in executive session, maybe trying to get down to what is really going on as to why we're having so many people leave our police department.
Okay.
And we'll discuss that in executive session.
But do we have a lot of people leaving the police
Yes.
department?
Yes, and we're going to discuss it in executive session. We have, it's a concern. And then item 9, discussion and appointment of Development Authority board members. That is also background and history. The City of Forest Park's Development Authority was established to promote and develop the development of trade, commerce, industry, and employment opportunities in the city. Development Authority members are appointed by City Council and currently has 2 of its members whose terms expired August 30th of the year 2022. The expiring members can be replaced or appointed reappointed, to serve as a member of this board. Under the criteria for the Development Authority members shall be taxpayers residing in the county or municipal corporation for which the authority is created. The city manager is seeking the direction of the council as to how they would like to proceed in this matter, and that is something else we will discuss in executive session. And so I am going to ask for a motion to adjourn the work session. And then we can take a quick bathroom break. And then we'll come back 8:05 for the regular meeting. So is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second? I heard Councilman Antoine. All in favor? All right, thank you.
Page. Two things gonna pass up.
All right, good evening, everyone. It is 8:07.
Wow.
And the regular meeting for mayor and council for Tuesday, September 6th is called to order. We do have Dr. Beeler. Dr. Beeler is going to do tonight's invocation. So all those who are able to stand as he is making his way to the podium, can you please do so and then remain standing throughout the Pledge of Allegiance?
I don't have a big prayer, guys. Just because I got this paper, I like to write down. When I come in, I try to ask the Lord, what do I pray about? What's the atmosphere? What's going on? What do I need to ask you to do for this city, for this council, for our citizens? And this is some of the things that I've listed that I feel like we need to pray for. Father, first of all, we come boldly to your throne of grace. We come in a new and living way through the blood of Jesus Christ. We come crying Abba to you, Father, for we truly believe that you are our Father and we are your children. So therefore, Lord, we come to you and let our petitions be made known. Lord, we recognize that we have mountains and we have valleys. Lord, I'm asking you to help us celebrate them both. Help us know where we are, Lord. Let us have the wisdom to navigate them. And Lord, let us prosper wherever we are. I know this is possible with you, Lord. Lord, I ask you to bless us, Lord, that our eyes and our hearts are open and that we're ready to receive everything that you have for us. Lord, that we are for you and you are for us. And we thank you for that. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Praise God.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Roll call, please.
Good evening, roll call for September the 6th, 2022, regular session. Mayor Butler,
Present.
Councilmember James.
I'm present.
Councilmember Anton,
Evening, everybody.
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Present.
Councilmember Aiken Wells,
Here.
Councilmember Mears.
Here.
Mayor and Council, you have a forum.
All right, thank you. Public comments, Mr. Elliott, you have the floor, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, sir.
I want to stand here and give thanks. Last Friday, I attended the food truck Friday and had a great time. The place was beautiful. There was a lot of smiling, friendly faces. The food was good. The complimentary drinks were especially nice. And I had a great time. It was just another example of I'm proud that I'm a resident here at Forest Park, and to whomever is responsible for all that, I give thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Falami? Oh, yeah, ma'am, you have the floor. Ms. Falami?
Good evening,
Good
Governor
evening.
Body. I rise this evening to come and let you all know that we are back in session for our volleyball recreation. Also, I'm asking that you all can look into the budget to see if you can assist us. This time, you have enough time to consider getting the banquets and trophy that our scholars solely deserve. I would greatly appreciate to see a little more efforts, those scholars when they accomplish their goals and they're keeping their grades to a certain point, that we at least give them trophies. And also network with our vendors to have a decent banquet for them to keep the coaches from having to go out and network. Moving on from that, I would like to also add that I hear your conversation each time about our public service, public work. But again, we have done a great job with giving raises. Again, this is a solution-driven conversation. And we have to find out what is the issue and why is the issue here. Many people come get our training and leave and excel highly because we are paying for their skills. I just want to resonate that. I also want to give my honor and respect for our previous council, Sandra Badley Evans, who transitioned and was going today. Beautiful Sarah. Thank you, Councilman Gutierrez, for showing your presence to represent Ward 3, which she solely loved. Also, when I was listening, that we're gonna have to figure out how to be solution-driven. I liked it what Minister Beast has just spoken about wisdom and understanding. But I heard something Sunday that resonated me now in my heart from my pastor. And it was that he was talking about the disciple denying Jesus. And in his topic, many Baptists use topic, he said, every now and then you should have a rooster in your life. And that can remind you where you come from and how did you get here. Now, I do want to inform you all that you allowed me tonight to miss my volleyball practice. So I'm looking for some money for my trophies. I'm looking for some money for my banquet. I'm gonna yield my time because I do need to get over here and speak to my parents before they leave. Thank you. I'm gonna be calling you, and you, if I don't have no trophy. Good night.
Thank you. Dr. Beeler?
I just wanted to say, watching you guys and watching what you're doing, you know, I first came to Forest Park in 1990. I was I used to be with the telephone company. I was a manager. One of my offices was right down here, right down the street. And I had to come down here and face the council because they didn't like what we were doing as far as to do cables that we were putting in. And I remember sitting in this room, and I'm gonna tell you, it was a lot different, even from the decor and from the attitudes that I had observed there. I wasn't treated very kindly. And I never thought that I would come to be working in Forest Park. And then we moved our ministry into Forest Park in 1994. And we've been ministering in the Forest Park area ever since. We've seen a lot of things happen here and a lot of things that saddened my heart, quite frankly. And I've seen a lot of things that have really made me proud of what God can do. What everybody say he couldn't do, he can do. I just wanted to really, I was talking to my granddaughter. Sometimes she acts like my grandmother, but she was just telling me the things that she's doing as far as the rental assistance program and the people that she has talked to, and that because of you showing a generous heart towards the citizens of this city, a lot of people were spared despair, homelessness, and who knows what other stress and distress they went through, the trauma. I don't know if you've ever had a trauma of getting ready to be put out of your house. Well, I can well imagine it was not something they really look forward to. But because you guys did that, I just wanted to give you kudos for that. And also, I would like to take a picture with you and me. Can I do that? I got a few more minutes. I got 46 seconds. Can y'all get down here in that time frame where I can take a picture?
Well, can we get through
Yeah,
before
go
we go
ahead.
into executive session? Yes.
Before you go into executive session, because I want to send it to my brother. He's out in San Jose, and I'm telling him about the city. I want to send him a picture.
All right, thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved.
That's Councilman Mears. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman James, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Approval of the work and regular meeting minutes from August 15th. Has everyone had the opportunity to review them? And if
Make a motion that, I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the work session and regular meeting.
All right, is there a second? Councilman Gutierrez, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. New business, council adoption of amending the ordinance 22-14 on text amendments. Now, this is an item for public hearing, so I'm going to ask for a recess on the regular meeting and enter into our public hearing to discuss the adoption of amending ordinance 22-14 on text amendments.
So move.
Councilwoman James, is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Mears, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. So our public hearing, once again, per our charter, there's 10 minutes allotted per side. Those who want to speak in favor of the text amendments, and then 10 minutes allotted for those who want to speak against or not in favor of the text amendments. And so if you want to speak in favor of it, you may line up at the podium. There's 10 minutes allotted collectively. All right, there are none. If there's anyone that wants to speak against the text amendments, you may line up at the podium. All right, there. No. All right, there are no comments. So is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman Wells. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman James, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, is there a motion to reopen the regular meeting?
So moved.
Councilwoman James, is there a second? Councilman Gutierrez, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. Now, is there a motion to adopt the text amendment?
So moved.
Councilwoman James, is there a second? Councilman Gutierrez, any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells? And Councilman Mears?
Yes.
Thank you. Council adoption of an amendment to the elections ordinance 22-15, barring persons that have violated election laws from serving as election officials. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So moved.
That was Councilman Mears. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilwoman Wells, any further, James, I'm sorry, any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells?
Yes.
Councilman Mears?
Yes.
Thank you. Council approval of policy guidelines for usage of discretionary ward funds and capital outlay funds. Is there a motion to approve this item?
So move.
That was Councilman Antoine. Is there a second?
Which one?
We're on item 4. All right, if there's not a second, this item will not move on. So is there a motion to recess the regular meeting and enter into an executive session for personnel, litigation, and real estate matters?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
do public comments first.
We already did public comment.
I
Oh, the
mean-
closing comments.
closing.
Oh,
Agenda number 5.
well, we're going to discuss that. We
Oh.
got to, in executive session. All right, closing comments by the governing body, Councilman Antoine.
Oh, no, thank you all for coming. See you guys next time. God bless.
Councilman, thank you, sorry. Councilman Gutierrez.
I have some pictures.
All right, well, Councilwoman Wells, you want to,
I have pictures too.
do you really? Councilman Mears? Councilman Mears, closing comments?
I'm glad to see everybody come, and we got a lot to do. We got a lot to think about. We can't all, us 5 or 6 up here can't do it all by ourselves. So we're gonna need some input from everybody that's concerned, especially on this garbage issue, because it's it can get ugly if we don't come to some conclusion. And we need feedback from the public. Thank you.
Councilwoman James.
Yes, I want to remind everyone that Saturday is the homecoming parade. It starts at 10 a.m. You are able to begin lining up or viewing the parade at 850 Main Street. Along that line, we're going to be leaving from Gen Care Senior Medical Center at 10 a.m. and traveling down Main Street and turning on Lake Drive. Hopefully the train will not be there. I'm going to reach out to Mr. Poe again to make sure the train is not there. Then we have a follow-up flag football game at Kiwanis Stadium. We will have vendors and we'll celebrate. We have a marching band, we have our dancers and our cheerleaders and our football team, and just come out and celebrate with us on Saturday at 10 a.m. Then on Friday, the 16th, that is the actual homecoming game against the other team. we're gonna have a
John Brown Carter.
we're gonna have a homecoming tailgate party at 5:30 at Hines Ward at Terra Stadium, Hines Ward Field at Terra Stadium, starting at 5:30. So come on out. We'll have a DJ and some music and all of that. So come out early for the game. The game starts at 7:30, but the tailgate, alumni tailgate, is going to start at 5:30. And then let's see. My monthly ward meeting will be on September 15th, which is the third Thursday of the month, every third Thursday. It will be at 5 o'clock. And it will be in person at the Hartsfield Community Center, 696 Main Street, or you can watch it online virtually. And I am putting together a team to participate in the 5K on September the 24th. So if you want to be a part of the Panther Strong team, see me, and we'll have a team in our 5K on September 24th.
Let's see. You ready? Councilmember Pierce?
they're ready, yeah. Just click on it, I'll talk about it. So first off, everybody, thank you for just being here and being so patient. My condolences to our Councilwoman, Ms. Bagley, prior to me. I went today to her service, and it just, just a reminder of how blessed we are to be here. Sometimes we get caught up with things and, material things are nothing. You can't take none of that. It's about the relationships you build with people. So just, if nobody's told you they love you, I love you for waiting here so patiently for me to talk. These are pictures from our tailgate event. We had a nice outing. The dogs just put a horrible whooping on the Oregon Ducks. This is Miss Jonesy's entrepreneurial program that she had with these young minds. So I was able to go out there and support. Check her out on Instagram. She has all their information and how to get access to them. And thank you for doing that for our community. I beyond words what you do for our people. Thank you so much. This is a New Georgia project. They were out there registering people to vote, and I got under their shade. The water authority has these big tanks they bring out for events. So that was really nice. So everybody can be hydrated. That was me on my good ankle. I thought I was the man on Saturday. And I was feeling it the next day until today. So that's that for that day. And then that's me again with Director Maxwell's chain. Thank you for letting me hold that, Director Maxwell. And then these are pictures of our Food Truck Friday event. It got a little cloudy, but that didn't stop us. It started raining. That didn't stop us. Some people did leave, but Elliot was there holding the area down. Thank you, Mr. Elliott. We watched the movie. Community came out. Thank you, Ms. Dixon, for putting this together. I usually just talk, but talking with the pictures just gives it action. The first Friday of every month, if y'all want to come out, your city hosts this event at Lee Park. This actually was started by Ms. Bagley, so it just was in a different location, and we just rebranded it to be on Fridays. But thank you. That's something that she left in part of her legacy that we still continue here in Forest Park. That's everybody there. That's Ms. Dixon on the popcorn machine. That there's the mayor's walk. Any flyers y'all want us to promote, we got y'all. We'll put them out there for the community. The bingo night flyer. We're also registering people to vote. Any Spanish speakers or anybody, honestly. We got a big election coming up, so that's important. And lastly, you can move these pictures a little bit faster, Mr. IT man. This is our bingo night where this is my favorite event. This Friday, we're having it at the senior center, but we eat a home cooked meal. I'm just in the way there. And this is another one we had at Gen Care, where our police department, our fire department came out and spoke to our seniors. But this Friday we'll be having it there. And that young fella right there, he's always excited about bingo and winning, and was complaining about a pothole, but thank you for taking care of that, Director Jenks. And that's our board, this Senior Panthers in Action, and that's their shirts. So now they got a whole logo, and that's them. They've taken off with that. So shout out to them. That's me again in the way. So yeah, shout out to our seniors. They're really, really fun events. We're gonna have a ball in December, so definitely pull up to that. Looking for sponsors like Dr. Falami said, but let's buy her trophies first before I ask for anything else. But thank you for listening. This Friday is that event, and reach out if y'all need anything, and just make sure you just count your blessings.
Councilman Wells?
Yes, so normally I don't write notes, but I wrote myself some notes because I just wanted to say, and again, I'll say this every time, everybody know I'm transparent, and I'm gonna speak what's on my mind, I'm gonna speak how I feel, and I'm gonna speak for the residents. So I will start by saying that you have some people that are here because it boosts their egos. You have some people that run for office because the title is all that they have to make themselves feel good about themselves. They feel empowered because they have a voice somewhere. And then you have those that are actually here to serve the community and the citizens that reside in the city that they quote unquote serve. So when people in events don't highlight them, that they don't care too much about it and will do anything to prevent those people that actually initiate things that bring the community together from making it possible, because it makes those that aren't doing anything look and feel a little better about themselves. I said that to say this. Forest Park Day, this is the 9th year. Forest Park Day has been going on since I've been in office, and it was the best one yet. The sponsors came out of the woodwork. I appreciate everyone. These are some of the pictures. We had a live wrestling match going on. We had artists from all over Clayton County that came because they heard that the city had taken the money away. Our fire department always represents, like, I love you guys so much. They heard that the city had taken the money away. The Rez Deshaun is a platinum artist. He came out. He's from Clayton County, Rex, Georgia. And they just wanted to give their time, because that is what coming together is. And that's what giving back to your community does. So we had a great time. Jonathan Rashmere, I just want to thank you, because they always give no matter what's going on. The Rez Deshaun, Michael Montana, Tune, and all the other artists that helped make Forest Park Day a success. These are people who are from Forest Park and Clayton County that actually care and are willing to give their time to bring our community together. Whether some people in the community like it or not, we're coming together. The city stepped down and the community stepped up. The rest of the show was an absolute hit. The kids and adults enjoyed it. This is our 9th year. We had no issues as any other year, and it gets bigger and better every year. And I truly thank those that stepped up when the ones that you thought had your back took away funds to use to bring our community together. We still did it, and I appreciate all of you. Melvin Bell, you are an absolute phenomenal. God bless you and your team. Collaborating with the community is in our mission statement, but the community gets pushed away to the side because the people that they elected don't want to collaborate with the community and don't want others to. So again, I just wanted to put that out there, because I'm gonna speak my mind. I'm gonna speak up for the residents, and the residents know what's going on. So although you may not like the activities, although you may not want to support it, we're bringing the community together. People are traveling from all over to come to Forest Park, to a Forest Park Day. And it was, again, absolutely amazing. One of the best that we've had in the 9 years that we've been doing this. So I just wanted to thank and I got to hit somebody with a chair. Let me tell you about this. Look, so I thought wrestling was fake. Like, I'm not a huge wrestling fan. So when we were rehearsing the roles, they said, you got to hit the person with the chair. And I said, well, I thought it was fake. I got to hit him for real. And I actually hit the guy with the chair, and they still talking about, like, that was a weak hit. Like, you couldn't do no better than that, because I didn't want to hurt him. But we had so much fun. Like, it was so many people out there. And the kids, I mean, they really enjoyed it. And to me, that's what bringing the community together is about. And that's what I'm about, and I will continue to be about. And that's why it bothered me that the city took the funds away, which is, it's okay. But then we come with something else. Now the council aides can't aid the council in helping getting funds. Like, it just don't make sense to me. And it's like everything that Councilwoman Wells or someone is trying to do to bring the community together, that don't highlight certain people, then it's an issue, and every, thing is going to be shot down every time. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like, no matter what obstacles may be thrown in the way, what God says will be, will be. And so I will not stop fighting for my community. I will not stop being the voice for my community. And I will keep putting on these community events and bringing my community together. Again, this is where I grew up. This is home for me. It's not just politics. This is home, and I care, and I'm going to serve my people I'm gonna serve your people because that's what we are here to do. So again, thank you. Huge shout out to Melvin Bell for stepping up when others stepped down and giving all of your resources, your team, and to making this event happen. And my condolences, deepest condolences to Councilwoman Bagley and her family. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.
Is there a motion to recess and go into executive session? Councilwoman James, counseled by Councilwoman Wells. All in favor?
Aye.
Come on, Alan.
All in favor?
All right, is there a motion to adjourn the executive session and reconvene into our regular meeting? Councilwoman James, is there a second? Councilwoman Wells, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And there are some actions that we do need to take. And so the first, is there a motion to reappoint Alvin Patton and appoint Victoria Williams to the Development Authority Board?
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
That was Councilman Mears. Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine?
Yes.
Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells?
Abstain.
And Councilman Mears?
Yes.
Okay, so that passed.
Madam Mayor, based on the discussion in executive session, a motion would be in order to approve the terms of a settlement agreement with Christine Terrell as recommended by your insurance carrier and legal counsel.
So moved.
That was Councilwoman James. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Mears? Any further discussion? Councilwoman James?
Yes.
Councilman Antoine? Councilman Gutierrez? Councilwoman Wells?
Yes.
And, excuse me, Councilman Mears?
Yes.
All right, thank you. That's it. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Councilwoman James, is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Cooper.